What's going on, people? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, it's come to my attention that Terence Crawford basically has his sights set on fighting Errol Spence Jr. And then if he were to defeat Errol Spence Jr., he plans to move up to 154 to defeat Jermell Charlo, which would make him undisputed in 3 different weight classes, right? And I'm going to tell you this. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a big Errol Spence Jr. fan. However, I respect the fighting prowess, the fighting abilities, the tenacity, the relentlessness, and the overall skill of Terence Crawford. I don't have to hate Terence Crawford in order to be a fan of Errol Spence Jr., right? Both of those guys are immensely talented. However, if Terence Crawford were to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, you would have to recognize Terence Crawford as one of the greatest fighters to ever walk this earth, right? And I say that, and I know I'm going to get flack for this because a lot of people are going to say, you know what? Terence Crawford is not fighting in the golden era. This isn't the 80s. This isn't the 90s. This isn't even the early 2000s, so on and so forth. However, a fighter can only fight against the competition that's in front of him, right? And if he defeats the guys that are in front of him and he becomes undisputed in 3 different weight classes, shit, man, that is one hell of an accomplishment to happen. I believe that the fight against Errol Spence Jr. is truly a 50-50 fight. I believe that both guys can win those fights in multiple ways. However, if Terence Crawford is to defeat Errol Spence Jr., I believe that he would beat Jermell Charlo much easily than he would beat Errol Spence Jr. Why? Because I feel like Errol Spence Jr. is a better fighter than Jermell Charlo in a lot of different ways. I believe that if Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo were not friends and they were not of the same stable, they were not stable mates, I believe that Errol Spence Jr. would defeat Jermell Charlo without question, right? I'm gonna say this. I've watched Jermell, I'm a fan of Jermell Charlo's fighting ability. However, I've watched Jermell Charlo fight lesser guys and struggle with them, right? Brian Castano is not Terence Crawford. He's not. He doesn't have the same punching power, doesn't have the same fighting skill, can't switch hit, doesn't present the same type of threat that Terence Crawford does. Doesn't have the fast hands that Terence Crawford has. But yet we saw Jermell Charlo struggle with him and then ultimately was given a draw, right? Some people feel like it was a gift. I feel like he earned the draw, but some people feel like it was a gift, right? Terence Crawford will capitalize on a lot of the things that Jermell Charlo does wrong. Case in point, man, I watched Tony Harrison fight Jermell, and let me say this. Tony Harrison he's a great fighter. He has great fighting technique, without question. Tony Harrison's problem is Tony doesn't have a chin. And when you don't have a chin against a guy like Jermell Charlo who can crack, you're going to be in for a long night. You're going to be in trouble, right? And when I saw that fight that they had, Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo, the first thing that came into mind was, damn, Tony really is outboxing Jermell. The problem is, Tony don't got no chin. And he tried to hook with a hooker and got stopped. I believe that, and people question Bud's chin and how he can take punches. When they saw Mean Machine Kavaliauskas drop him, they saw Yuriorkis Gamboa drop him and hurt him as well in that fight. So people be like, I don't know if he can take punches or not. We don't know. But I know that after the time that when Bud gets hit and he gets dropped, he does come back. It delivers a mean streak in him to basically come out and get himself to get the knockout. It awakens a dog in him that he comes and he gets the knockout, right? However, I know this for a fact. Jermell swings a lot of looping shots wildly, and he would be open to getting clipped by some shots from Terence Crawford. Jermell got a great chin though. Jermell for sure has a great chin without question, right? But I believe that Terence Crawford, I don't think Terence would knock him out, but I believe Terence would outpoint him. Case in point being, Jermell is not really defensively responsible. Now, people will argue that Bud isn't the best defensively, but his defense is better than Jermell's. Terence has better punch placement. Again, faster hands. I think it would basically be a problem for Jermell to adjust to fighting Bud in that situation. I really do. The question will remain, will Terence Crawford be able to handle the punching power, the pop that Jermell has? Jermell doesn't have the best punch placement, but when he hits you, he can hit you with some shit, right? So I want to know how Terence would handle that. But I believe that if Terence doesn't get hurt for real, if he doesn't get hurt, I believe that he would get a decision for sure. Because his boxing ability is much better than Brian Castano and even Tony Harrison. Again, Tony is like a great fighter, but he's chinny. So there lies that problem. I believe that if Jermell got into the ring with Terence Crawford, if Terence is to get past Errol Spence Jr., he would have an easier time with Jermell than Errol. You know, I believe again, presently constructed, I'm looking at the fighting styles, it would be a bad matchup for Jermell. And if Jermell can't hurt Bud, then I don't see him winning no decision. I really don't. And again, I don't know if Bud can hurt Jermell because Jermell has he has a solid chin, for sure. I don't know if he could really drop him and nothing like that. But if he go to 12 rounds, I'm going to give it to Terence Bud Crawford. He's just better skill, for sure. And if Bud pulls off that feet, you can't do nothing but salute that. You got to respect that. That's tough. That is tough as hell. You got to respect that without question. I just don't know. I'm not sure if I don't see a situation where Jermell would win a decision. If he can't hurt him, I don't see him winning a decision. Again, Terence poses threats that Tony Harrison and Brian Castano didn't. And again, I believe it was clear to me that Tony Harrison was outboxing Jermell. Without question. It's just them knockdowns and all that. And Jermell's relentlessness, his punching output and his punching power, it just overwhelmed Tony. To the point Tony could not take them shots at all. He just was like, he was getting hit and hit. He's like, it was like, damn. At some point, it's like, he ain't got no shot because he don't got no punch resistance. Bud can get clipped for sure and hurt. But I don't, again, it would awaken a dog in him to where it would be to a point where Bud would get more sharp after getting hurt if he's able to withstand the onslaught from Jermell. So I believe he could outbox him for the rest of the match. So I want to acknowledge, man, I'm not no hater. If Terence Bud Crawford gets by my boy Errol Spence Jr. and he goes to fight Jermell Charlo, I see him getting a decision in that fight. If Jermell can't hurt him, I see him cleanly outboxing Jermell. I really do. I see him cleanly outboxing Jermell. So, and if he does that, that's gangster. That's legendary. If he's undisputed in 3 different weight classes, that is legendary. And this is coming from an Errol Spence fan. If he does that, that is to be commended. That is to be applauded. And again, I know that Errol probably won't even, if Jermell is still at 154 and Errol comes up to 154, they're not going to be fighting. Errol says if it's for the right money, it'll happen. But Derek James doesn't want that to occur. And deep down, I don't think they really want to fight each other for real. Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo. They friends, they good friends. They've been, fighting together, for a while now, fighting in the same stable for a while. They both from Texas area. They've developed a camaraderie with each other that they don't want to have to do nothing with each other, try to fight each other, hurt each other in that ring. So I believe that, but I believe that if if Terence Crawford were to get past Errol Spence, he would have a much easier time with Jermell Charlo and would beat Jermell. Just because I just see certain holes in Jermell's game that I feel like Terence would capitalize on. And Jermell's not the same fighter that Errol Spence Jr. is. Errol is a better fighter than him, in my opinion. Errol does things and makes certain adjustments better than Jermell does. I believe that Errol would have eventually went out there and stopped Brian Castano, even though Castano beat Errol in the amateurs. I believe Errol is a better fighter now. He would have figured that out and would have put on the pressure to stop Castano from doing what he was doing. He would have figured out a way to disarm Castano from getting off the way he was getting off with Jermell and having those moments. I feel like Errol would have had better punch placement. He would have done more damage to Castano to where the victory would have not been a draw at all. It would have went in Errol's favor if Errol didn't stop Castano. I believe that Terence Bud Crawford would beat Castano. Maybe probably stop him too. So who knows, man? But I just think that that Terence would beat Jermell. Presently how Jermell fights and all of that, what I'm seeing now, I believe if Jamel can't hurt him, Terence gonna win that fight for sure. And Terence would have to be looked at as an all-time legendary fighter. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.